What's up?
I'm Monique.
I can't do this with you guys. Sorry.
I'm Shane.
Randall.
And today's live, we're going to be talking about where to put a float tank when you think you don't have the space.
Ooh, that's a good one.
This is an amazing one.
Yeah, so
Where do we begin?
where do we even begin? A lot of people, like a big reason people wouldn't get a float tank is they just think that they don't have space for it. Maybe because they just don't have an extra room, an entire spare bedroom. But you really don't need one entire room just for your float tank. So we're going to be talking about all the dimensions and things like that, and what you can do to put it in a room and have it look cool still.
I also think some people maybe think that there's like plumbing involved, and it's a lot more involved than it really is. So today we're going to be able to show you that it's actually easy.
Yeah, and what you really need.
The water cleaning on the float tank is submersible, so the water equipment is inside the tank under the water, and it's out of the way. But submersible was just a good design so we could keep the footprint smaller. So it just takes less room to have a float tank from Zen.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea, this room is what?
12 by 10 we measured.
Wow.
It's 12 feet by 10 feet, and we have 2 float tanks in here. Woo! We have the tent and the tank side by side with plenty of room. We also, you guys can't see, but we even have a desk
This is
in
an
here.
office as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
also an office.
It's amazing.
Amazing. So yeah, it can go a lot of places. We've had people put them in their kitchens, in bedrooms. Randall used to have one in his living room. Do you still have one?
I've had it in both my living rooms that I have, as well as my office. So it obviously makes the the living room. Basically, I pulled the couch out from the wall and I stuck the float tent right behind it. So it made my living room smaller, but from the benefits you get from floating, I'm willing to lose space in my living room for it. So, or my office or wherever I've had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's another good one. Someone put it in their office, and that's an awesome spot just because floating helps you focus and helps your creativity. So you can get done floating, rinse off, and then get to work, and you have a clear headspace.
Heck yeah.
People always ask too, can I put it in my on my patio or outside or in a shed?
Mm-hmm.
And you can if the temperature can stay between 60 and 80 degrees. So if you're in like Utah in the winter, you can't put it outside. But like some climates that can stay 60 to 80, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like weatherproof, but as long as it had a shelter.
Mm-hmm.
A little cover.
Yeah.
And a lot of people also ask about flooring, and this tank has insulation on the bottom, so it does a little bit better than the tent on colder surfaces.
For sure.
But still, if you're going to put it on concrete or maybe tile where it is colder, we recommend just putting like rubber gym mats or like a pad of carpet underneath just to help with insulation to keep your water and tent warm and save you money on the heating. So
as far as efficiency, as far as saving money on heating, this tent was about, in Utah power consumption, it was about $30 a month. And this new one came in, what was it? It was like 15
to 20.
Yeah, so we just played it safe and said it's 40% more efficient, but it's a lot more efficient.
A lot.
Yeah.
So another question we get asked a lot is how much space around the tent you need, and you kind of answered this. All the filtration's inside the tent, so it's self-contained, but what about for cleaning? How much
Yeah, the
room?
only thing that comes out of the tent is basically just the wiring for the components. So you actually, we tell people to put a foot around, each side, but you can get away with, 4 to 6 inches probably.
Yeah, what are we doing here? I think we're doing about 6, maybe less. And then on the back there's a foot.
Yeah.
We have about this much space from here to here between the wall and the tank.
Back here is like an exact foot, which is nice for access in the back.
Yeah, it's just good to get around and clean it, every now and again, but again, we made this so you could literally put it anywhere in the house. It's going to go anywhere that you have a room, for sure. Some people kick out their kitchen table for it just because it's doing so much for them, so it'll go anywhere.
Yeah. And another cool thing about this new tank is there's a drip mat on it. So when you step out of this tank, you step onto that mat. So all the water and salt will run off of you onto that instead of going onto your floor.
Yeah, in
surface.
case you're wondering, Monique is not as tall as me. She's
Oh yeah,
standing-
I'm standing on the drip mat.
Nice.
So I'm just extra tall today.
Should we do dimensions?
Yeah.
So from the very front edge, not water, but the very front edge to the back, what's that? That's 9 foot.
9 inches.
9'9".
Mm-hmm.
So you need 6 inches side to side, 6 inches foot to the back. So I mean, what do they really need? They need 11 feet.
If you have 11 feet by 6 feet in space, that's probably going to do it.
Yeah, and then it's about 6 foot tall, 6 something.
6'2", I
6'2".
think.
And
Okay.
a 7-foot ceiling is what you want, at least.
7-foot ceiling. Yeah. So it's, I think our tent, we would say it was about the size of a twin bed. This one would be, you need about the size of a queen bed.
Really? It doesn't
It's
sound
probably
right.
still twin.
Maybe
yeah.
I'm making that up.
I think it's a twin bed.
It's a little bit longer than a twin bed, but
Yeah.
it's still twin.
As far as the water area, so from this edge to the back edge, it's 8, and then from side to side, it's 4.
Yeah.
But what's cool is like with this new design, there's not flaps, so it doesn't really cut into the float space at all. It's just a sheer wall, so you really get a true 8x4. And I'm 6 foot tall, and I float easily in our tank with plenty of space. I can go arms up, arms down. It's cool. It works.
Yeah, it feels a lot spacier
It feels
than
way roomy.
the tent. There's
Yeah.
room to move around.
Spacier. I'm gonna write that
Space-
So
Here.
spacier.
So spacey. So another question that people are concerned about is if we ever get mold in the house from condensation. I don't think mold has ever been an issue
Yeah, we've never heard of anything, but
in the
that all
house.
comes down to tank maintenance. You know, if you're not taking care of your tank, then bad stuff's going to happen. But if you are, you leave room around just to make sure you can get around it and do your maintenance, you're not going to have those issues.
Yeah, and there's a neoprene like seal that goes around this door which blocks light and airflow, and then there's 2 ventilation caps on the back which let some airflow, but the room doesn't ever get filled with condensation. It doesn't ever get really humid. All of that's really contained in the tank, so you don't need to worry about that for the room.
Yeah.
It'll be, yeah.
Yep.
It'll be good to go. And then another question is noise, because it's in people's homes. They're regular household noises, so people ask about that a lot.
Ooh, we got to do that noise test again. So
We
we could
do.
post a link. We did a noise test in the float tent, and I laid in it with the cover off, and then Mason and Will made noise, and I just said when I could hear it. The light noises, talking, chatter, cell phone beeps, message, none of that stuff actually gets through. It's usually the deep thuds, but they're big deep thuds, and that would happen no matter what tank you're in. That's not like a float tank thing. You'll
Yeah.
notice when you go in float centers, they're super quiet, and most float centers put their tanks on like rubber pucks to keep the ground thuds out of the sound. So I promise you, the experience as far as sound goes is the same in this tank as it is in like a commercial tank.
Yeah, and that's because all the air that's surrounding you. Again, we picked it up off the ground, and there's air in between the ground and the float. So
It's a big deal. This is my favorite tank to float in, not just saying it.
Yeah.
I floated a lot in float centers, and I still like a cabin tank because they're so big you can stand up, but it's just never going to work in your home. This is perfect for home, and they're great floats. In fact,
Yeah.
the first time I ever fell asleep in a float tank was in this tank.
really,
Yeah.
Whoa, I did not know that.
Yeah. I
That's
love this
cool.
tank, personally.
nice.
It's just easy.
Yeah.
And then another question is how to fill up your tank if it's in a living room or if it's upstairs or somewhere hard to get to. How do you fill it up with water?
I just ran a hose from a hose bib in the garage or out and back up to wherever the tank is. So it's pretty. As long as you have a hose, you'll be able to get it done.
Yeah. If you ever need to move water or move your tank, you can get a sump pump. Sump pumps are for pumps when people say basements flood. They stick a pump in, it has a hose on it, and it gets the water out fast. But if you ever need to move the tank in your home, You can just throw a sump pump in it, pump into a kiddie pool, move the tank, and then pump it back into the tank, and it's pretty easy to move. I've moved a lot of tanks, so it's not
that's
bad.
why I've had mine in both living rooms and my office, because it's fairly easy to move.
Yeah, you
Or
just
any other. Some people buy commercial tanks for their home, and once you set those up, you're not moving those.
yeah, that's a big. You might not even get them into your home.
Yeah.
Most commercial tanks, I've seen float centers where they demo entire walls to get a tank in, and then have to rebuild the wall.
Whoa.
Yeah. There's some tanks
Not
that kind of break down and that sort of thing, but it's nothing like the ease of carrying something into a room and inflating it.
Yeah, fully collapsible.
Yeah.
Super easy. So yeah, do you have any shout outs?
We have a quick question. He said, has anyone ever reported their floors warping or sagging from the weight?
I haven't heard it.
Never heard anything like that. The biggest thing with that is if you're trying to put it, I guess, on an upper level instead of a ground level of a house, you just want to check, with a contractor, especially if it's an older house before 1975, I think. You want to check with a contractor, but if you're worried about that, put it close to the walls. That's where your floor is strongest, and it's not any heavier than a waterbed, so if people can put waterbeds in their house, you can put this in your house.
Yeah, it meets U.S. building code as far as the recent stuff, so
Yeah.
it's safe.
Yeah. So if you're concerned, just get a contractor or someone to come check it out, but should be good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to talk stretch goal? Or is it
Oh,
too
yeah.
early?
Yes. No, yeah. We're gonna do a quick Kickstarter update.
I'll look up where we're at. You give the update.
Okay, so we have hit our goal, but we still will have to borrow money to get everything.
Ooh, just had one
Made.
come through.
Heyo!
Yeah. We're at 233.
We're at 233.
We're not far away from 3.
Not far away. So we added a stretch goal. We make it to 300,000. Then everyone who backed us is going to get a pair of float headphones.
Hey, Shane, I have some right.
Damn it. I thought it was so cool.
It was a good entrance.
All right. It came out perfectly when you were saying it.
I know. Ah.
These are awesome.
They're so awesome. They have a 9-foot cord, so you don't have to worry about your phone or your stereo or whatever getting wet. Safe. Yeah, and they're good for like guided meditations or music during a float.
Guess what I just heard?
What?
Alexa offers guided meditations.
No way.
No.
Yeah, you say,
way.
Alexa, I want to meditate for 20 minutes, and she gives you a guided meditation.
Does Alexa have an auxiliary jack?
I don't know.
That's a
Probably.
good
I
question.
bet you they do. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
So I'm going to try that like tonight.
Yeah, let us know how it goes. 'Cause I'm being curious.
You probably rely on Alexa for a lot. I imagine.
Too much. It's almost ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Also, we added another goal. So our goal as a company is just to help make floating more accessible to everyone, and we just want to say thanks to everyone who's helped back us
Big
and
thank
support
you.
us.
Yes.
Yeah, huge thank you. So we added just a $1 donation, and if you do that on Kickstarter, then you get an online version of the Float Tank Cure the book, and you get access to a guided meditation specific to floating.
For $1.
For
And it's a really
$1.
good guided meditation.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's like 25 minutes long, maybe.
That's specific to floating, right?
Yeah.
So this is crazy. When I stumbled onto this lady, her name's Karen Leonard, when I was absolutely mental and panic-ridden and anxiety. And I went through a bunch of them, and I found one that I loved. Her name is Karen. Her voice is just like butter. Later, after all the book and the business, we reached back out. And we're like, will you make one for floating? And she said, yeah, sure. So it's the voice I've always loved with one for floating. It's great.
Nice.
You can listen in
It's
your bathtub
awesome.
and even get a close idea of meditating in water. But it won't be
Yeah.
the same as a float tank, but it'll be relaxing.
Yeah. It'll be calming. But yeah. So, and the Shane's Float Tank Cure book, if you guys haven't heard of that, it's...
I wonder if we should just unload books for like $5, just like free pay shipping. We'll think about it.
We'll
That'd be
think
really good.
about it. But yeah.
This might be TMI, but so I've had prescriptions for anti-anxiety, anti-panic, that sort of thing. I came in here, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I was telling Mason I was like a little nervous, but I hopped in a tank and got out, and I had the same feeling of when I take like a Xanax to curb anxiety. So that sort of it's anecdotal. I'm not saying it's gonna happen to you, but it happened for me. So floating is just as good as like an emergency medication. It's that powerful.
That's why it's worth losing some space in some room of your house.
Seriously.
Yeah. So worth it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot cheaper and easier, and no dependence. You'll just love floating.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Any other questions or shout outs?
I don't think we have any questions.
What's up, Ellen?
Ellen! Is she watching today?
I think so.
Yay! Ellen's our homegirl.
Oh, cool.
I think she pledged for the $1 pledge.
Oh, thanks, Ellen.
She's
Yeah,
always
thank
got
you,
her
Ellen.
Yeah, she does got her back.
Well,
Thanks everybody for watching.
yeah, thanks for watching.
Thank
and supporting
you.
us.
Yeah.
Keep sharing. We need the shares. We need the views. And we haven't hit the goal I want to hit because I don't want to go in debt to make this new tank. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. Adios, guys.
See ya.
Thanks. Bye.